Did you know that women having their first child over the age of 35 has increased from only 8% in 1990 to anywhere between 11 to 19% in the early 2020s? So while more women are having their first child over the age of 35, there are still a lot of myths and fears and pressures associated with becoming a mom a little bit later in life. We're going to talk all about that today, so let's go ahead and jump on it. Myth number one, you're going to have infertility issues. So I 100% believe this. When I started thinking about getting pregnant, I was 37. And so I started doing some research and trying to understand what the process might be like. And while I'm not going to get into any of the things that I read, statistics or things like that, I will just say that everything I came across was very discouraging. There was really not a lot of good news for women over the age of 35. So I just got it in my head, this is going to be hard. I am not going to get pregnant easily. One of the things that I did come across said that if you were a young, healthy couple trying to get pregnant, you should give yourself about a year. If you were over the age of 35, give yourself about 6 months. And then after that, maybe go to the doctor to see what's going on. So I figured, okay, this is going to take a while. Let's get started. And so my husband and I started trying. And during that time, I started researching infertility podcasts and blogs and reading like what can I do to help myself during this time. And little did I know I was already pregnant. Yep, it took about 3 weeks of trying before I got pregnant. I tell everyone it was the most unexpected planned pregnancy possible. Now, I know that's not every woman's story. I know that there are some of you out there who infertility is an issue, and that is a journey that you are on right now. But the reason why I share this is because there are many things that will factor into whether or not you have fertility issues. And I would just encourage you, try not to get ahead of yourself. I put a lot of fear and pressure on myself based on what I read, and in my case, none of that fear was needed. So for yourself, if you're on this journey, don't rush ahead of yourself. Take it a step at a time. You might need some help and intervention, and that might go easily and quickly for you. For some of you, you might take a little bit longer to get there. Either way, putting fear and pressure on yourself to get pregnant, it's not going to help you in the process anyways. So if it helps, don't read all the statistics out there. Take this journey a step at a time and see what happens for yourself. Myth number two, you're going to have a high risk pregnancy. So this, I think, is a pretty common concern for women over the age of 35. They're worried that themselves or their babies are going to have a problem during pregnancy. And it's no wonder that we worry about things like that because we get titles like geriatric pregnancy, or I think the term they use now is advanced maternal age, which I guess sounds better. But no matter what phrase they use, basically, you're an old mom. And so what comes with that are these concerns that you and your baby are not going to be okay. And there is also this idea that there's all these other things that are now included in your journey when that might not necessarily be true. Again, this is going to depend on your particular situation and your case, but I will share with you a little bit about what my experience was being in advanced maternal age. So I went to a regular OB. In order to get my 20-week ultrasound, they had me go to maternal fetal medicine. Now, yes, maternal fetal medicine is often associated with high-risk pregnancy. In my case, I was not high risk. My baby was developing completely normal from beginning to end. He had no problems. My labor and delivery was also completely normal. They simply assigned me to maternal fetal medicine just for that extra care, right? Just for that little extra check of being a little bit more thorough. Beyond that, at the end of my pregnancy, I did have a little bit more checks than perhaps a younger mom would have had to experience. So for example, what I mean by that is I had a couple of extra ultrasounds just to check in on how he was developing. And then I also had to do non-stress tests. Non-stress tests are very simple. They hook you up to a monitor, they check your heart rate and the heart rate of the baby. Now, another factor that you might have to consider is that I know for myself and another friend of mine who was older when she got pregnant, our doctors did not want us going beyond our due date. Now, in my case, I did request my doctor, could I go a little bit further than my due date? I really wanted to see if I could go into labor naturally. And she agreed to that so long as I went for an extra non-stress test and ultrasound to make sure that everything was okay. So in my case, it really was not a lot of extra care that needed to happen. I had a very normal pregnancy, and for many of you, you may be the same as well. Now, if you are labeled high risk, that just means you're going to get the extra care that you and your baby need. Myth number 3, pregnancy and motherhood is going to be physically more challenging for you because you're an older mom. This is really not necessarily true. It really kind of comes down to how well you take care of yourself. Yes, you're a little bit older, so maybe there are a little bit more aches and pains than you had when you were younger. Maybe you get tired a little bit quicker, right? But that doesn't mean that it physically has to be any more challenging than it was if you were a little bit younger. Now, I will admit, being a mom, being on my feet all day, being on the floor all the time, I now wear slippers that have a really thick sole in them because I was going to bed at night and my legs were killing me. Yeah, maybe that wouldn't have happened if I was 25 years old and I had my son. But you know what? I found a way of dealing with it. And you will too. You're going to find ways of taking care of yourself, taking care of your body. So while there might be challenges that you wouldn't have had if you were 22 years old having a baby, you're going to be okay. You're going to find a way to make it work for you. It's certainly not a reason to decide to not have a child later in life altogether. You're going to find a way that's just right. Myth number 4, younger moms make better moms. First of all, what does better even mean, right? A younger mom, yeah, she might have a little more energy than you, but that doesn't mean she's going to be a better mom than you. Now, as an older mom, you're going to bring to the table a lot more wisdom and knowledge, probably a lot more self-confidence. You may have more financial stability than when you were younger, even just more emotional steadiness, right? You are going to have so much to offer your little one because you have years of experience and wisdom to share with them. Don't spend any time comparing yourself to younger women. They have their own set of challenges being a mom, just like you as an older mom, you're going to have your own set of challenges too. Either way, no matter what age you are taking care of and raising a tiny human, and you're going to have wonderful things to share with them. You're going to have challenges, and either way, this is the time in your life to be a mom. No need to worry about how old you are. You get to be the best mom that you want to be at the age that you are. Before we wrap up today, let's take a moment to be encouraged. First of all, I hope you come away with this knowing that there's really no limits here. If you want to become a mom after the age of 35, go for it. And as an extra bonus, studies have shown that women who become moms after the age of 33 are twice as more likely to live to the age of 95. That's right, ladies, we get some bonus years because we had children later on in life. That means I get to enjoy my child's life for even longer than I may have if I had had him at a younger age. I'll take that. That works for me. So I hope you come away encouraged knowing that there really is no reason to stop yourself from becoming a mom at an older age. You can do it. And bonus, you can bring some really great things to the life of your child because of all of the years of experience that you have being now an older mom. If you know another woman who is about to become an older mom or wants to become an older mom, go ahead and share this with her, give her some encouragement, and make sure to subscribe and follow along for more for the next time of Confessions of a New Mom.